What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Bat in the Hat podcast, where we dive deep into all things nerd in a new format, a new way. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what happened. 7 months went by.
Right.
I got AIDS twice, and now,
Survived
we're
COVID.
back. Survived COVID.
Fought monkeypox.
I'm just
to the
so
death.
sick of hearing the. I'm so tired of even hearing the word COVID anymore.
Oh, true.
If it would just be so nice if that, now the monkeypox is the thing, and I don't know.
True.
I don't know. I am horrified at what the world is going to become, but we are here and we're back and we're here for you. We're here to bring you the nerdy news that you deserve and to talk and to chat. So we're currently going through riverside.fm, which is it's a studio that is made for interviewing, and a lot of people create their podcasts through here because I wasn't super happy with how we had our setup in the old apartment.
Right.
Me and my fiance moved, and this room is smaller, so I decorated it how I wanted to, but there's really not enough room for us to do the whole trying to have a set and the TV and all that.
Plus,
kind of stuff.
the downloading and everything was terrible too.
Right. All the work that went into making that a reality with the limited equipment that we have was kind of a nightmare. So, so we set up this, we kind of did research. Trey went and online and was like, hey, I told you about Squadcast, right? And then you were interested in oh, let me look at that and see what, and then he sent me a video that was like, is Squadcast the best, or here's these other ones? And, I went and tried a whole bunch of them. Me and Trey did some test recordings, and this is the one that we ended up liking. Yeah, so I really do like Riverside. It's also going to make it much easier, Trey, to have guests on the show, to do interviews, to have people, so we don't have to be splitting mics or worry about my audio interface not having enough inputs for more mics and all that kind of fun stuff. So how do you feel about it? How are you liking it so far, just in the limited test that we've been doing?
I'm definitely enjoying it. I know it's a little weird looking just from the format, because I know we're in 720, even though you got the big fancy camera and I'm running webcam. But hopefully on the upload, we look pretty solid. I definitely got to give a shout out to Eric and Phil from the Wait For It podcast for shooting some info about this website, because this thing's definitely killer. Game changing.
Yeah. Thank you, Eric and Phil, for sure. They're part of the Wait For It podcast, if you guys haven't followed them yet. So what do they specialize? I haven't really listened to their show too much. What are they nerdy kind of stuff too?
Oh yeah, they're killing the game. They get invited to host panels at cons, local cons here to Jacksonville. They mainly talk about a lot of nerd stuff, and they aren't real opinion news based. They kind of, all right, we're going to do one topic here, shoot a 20-minute episode and just keep banging out episodes like that, which is a dope format. And they put lo-fi music underneath it. So it's definitely a fun, really, if you're reading in the background and want a dope pod to listen to in the background besides us, definitely a solid one I would plug for sure.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, guys, go check them out. The Wait For It podcast. I assume they're on, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, things of that nature.
Put the links in the bio.
Put the links in the bio. And so, we're just excited to be back. I'm pumped. I'm just excited because we also came back at a really great time, because not only did San Diego Comic-Con just happen, but this week, all of this crazy DC news. And as you guys know, those of you who have been listening to the show in the 2-something years that it's kind of been a thing, we're a very DC heavy podcast. We're not I don't like speaking for Trey, but I'm just not a huge Marvel fan in general. I do love the MCU. Of course, I love some of those movies the way that everybody does. I just don't, I think they're definitely kind of going downhill a little bit, not to be that negative person who hates things, because I do think they're still amazing. But I think that the last two that I saw, which was Doctor Strange and one other, I don't remember what it was, they were just not what I was hoping for, I guess. But, still a lot of fun, still very cool. And DC just tickles my pickle.
Exactly.
In a weird way.
You and me both like the dark and gritty. So shout out DC fans.
Yeah, I mean, I just really and then there's the dark and gritty that's more kind of ridiculous, like The Boys, and that's That's amazing. I love The Boys, but I wouldn't follow a whole universe of The Boys. I don't think if that was expanded to at the size of DC that I would be as interested, because that kind of dark and gritty just makes you feel awful about being an American.
I can definitely break your heart on if you're prepared for the next season of The Boys. Apparently, the actor who plays the Deep isn't signing his contract to return, so that's tough. Great actor. And
he may just be getting other opportunities, and he wants to pursue those and not just be, I think that he was cast in Gossip Girl as, I don't remember the character's name, but my fiance watches Gossip Girl a lot, and I end up sitting I am that guy who sat there and was like, this is so stupid, don't make me watch it. And then 10 minutes later, I was like, that bitch did what? Like, what? And so I was like, and so we ended up watching a lot of Gossip Girl, and he plays Nate Archibald.
Okay.
Nate Archibald. And I loved his character. But I think that was a character that, because it ran for like 10 years or something like that, he probably got typecasted in, or he got stuck in. He didn't do a whole lot outside of that. This is the only other thing I've seen him in. So he may be having a little bit of that kind of fear of like, I don't want to be in another thing where I'm only in that for the next 10 years.
I'm still,
so
I'm definitely still head over heels for your fan casting that you put out for Anthony Starr. If he could become a Reverse Flash somehow, that would be insane. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I think that I saw that picture going around Instagram, and then I saw it pop up on Facebook, and I was like, man, Anthony Starr has, there was always something about Homelander that never seemed right to me, or Anthony Starr, I guess, when he's not in his costume, because that costume in The Boys is a little padded. Like, when you see him in a t-shirt, he has a pretty average body, and good for him, because he's not going through the Marvel training regiment, clearly. But man, when I saw that, I was like, his face, if I had to picture Eobard Thawne in real life, it would be fucking Anthony Starr. That's exactly who it would be. And I think that's just, that'd be a really cool fan cast.
Exactly. Yeah, it'd be real dope.
But yeah, so if you're ready, dude, we got some good pop culture news. We're kind of restructuring the show like we do every 10 episodes or so, just because we get bored and we don't know what we're actually doing. We're going to go through some pop culture news. We're going to talk about the San Diego Comic-Con trailers that Trey absolutely loved. Some of the movies, books, and games he's been delving into recently. And then we're going to come back to me for comic talk. So one of the big focuses, and me and Trey have talked about this a lot, one of the big focuses I want to draw this show back to is I want to have fun and talk about the movies and TV shows, because obviously that's a huge, we're obsessed with what's going on. And I'm really excited to talk about some of this stuff that's happening, and a little sad to talk about some of the stuff that's happening. But I wanted to bring at least a portion of the show back to comics, because we both love comics. We sell comics professionally. We read comics all the time. We've been in the comic sphere for, I've been in the comics world professionally for, 4 or 5 years
I'm
now.
running on 2.
But I've been reading since I was, I've been reading since I was 11 years old. So reading comics, not just reading in general. I finally learned how to read, Dad. Mama. I picked up Batman. But yeah, so I just really wanted to bring a chunk of this show back to comics and kind of talk about them, because there's such cool fucking shit going on. Not only that, but I really want to start making videos where I'm unboxing. I have a whole stack of comics that I've gotten off eBay, like keys that I've been collecting that I have not opened yet, because I want to do an unboxing video and, really kind of make the content that you guys deserve and that we want to do and have fun. And we've been overcomplicating things, or at least I've been overcomplicating things for the last several years, trying to do the most. And now I'm just kind of like, whatever, let's just fucking
wing it and have fun, baby.
Have some fun. Yeah. On my personal news, not comic book news or nerdy news, me and my fiance have started our own LLC called Bat in the Hat LLC, which is now officially live. So Bat in the Hat LLC will not only be over the Bat in the Hat podcast, obviously, as a an ownership company, but its primary focus was so that I can open my own retail store, which will probably, the retail store probably won't come for a few years, a year or two at least. But, we're starting now with buying inventory and hitting trade shows and doing, what are they called? Flea markets and, all that kind of stuff. Getting promotional materials, cards, and table throws and things like that. And it is called Last Chance Survival Prepper Supply Co. So it is a very apocalyptic or post-apocalyptic themed prepper shop where you can get any bug out, any kind of camping, outdoors equipment that you need. We're going to have things eventually to secure your homes, your vehicles, like all that kind of great bug out overland. And we wanted to make it really fun and apocalyptic theme, which I know that that's an oxymoron, but like really fun in the fact that you can come in and it doesn't just feel like a Republican paradise. Like it doesn't just feel like the dude behind the counter has said the N-word 3 times that day. Like it feels like an experience. Like you're walking into armory in COD, like you're playing Call of Duty and you're about to go out into the shit, so you have to pick your load out. You know what I mean? That's what I want the store to be like. But for now, we're starting small, obviously, hitting the trade shows, and I'm very, very excited to start this. It's been a dream of mine for a while, and I can't wait to like update you guys. And Trey is like I gotta say, like, honestly, thank you so much for, not to be corny, but like who you are and what you do in my life, because not only are you an amazing friend and an amazing person, but you have been like the best cheerleader, not in like a derogatory sense. Like you're that kind of person who is always like, fuck yeah, dude, you can do whatever you want. You can be whatever you want to be in this life. And like Trey's attitude towards 90% of life has really kind of pushed me and helped me get to the point to do the things I want to do and no longer kind of wait or play the what if game. So thank you, Trey.
Anytime.
I really do appreciate you as a friend.
I appreciate you, buddy.
And I hope that you'll be with me at some of those trade shows and talking shit and doing some of the stuff.
I mean, but just to drop it live right now, not to like geo-map where you live at, but the Forgotten Toy Box, which is kind of close to you, they just got 2 long boxes in, and I've definitely found keys there all the time. So if you get a little bit of free time, definitely feel free to check it. I always got my ear to the ground for keys and good little deals here in Jack's.
Oh, yeah.
But I definitely want to give you a congratulations on that. I know you've been like trying to do that for a minute now.
Thank you.
Big congrats on that, buddy.
Yeah, we've been talking about it for a while, and now that we're kind of putting that plan into action and we hit that point of no more just waiting and no more just, seeing what's going to happen. My mom said, and my mom is a small business banker, she does a lot of this kind of stuff. She said, it's like having a kid. If you keep waiting for the right financial time to have a kid, you're never going to have a kid, and luckily we don't ever want to have kids, but you get what I'm saying. If you wait to start your business, until you think you're financially stable or secure, you're never going to start your business. So, we'll see what happens, but we're really excited to, start in this new venture and see what's up. But Trey, what about you, man? How have you been?
I've been good. These past 7 months, I've been diving deep into Whatnot. I'm currently running the Friday and Saturday shows out at Cowabunga Comics. So check us out at cowabungacomics.com, or that's the same username on Whatnot.
Cowabungacomics.com. I was going to say at Cowabunga Comics on Whatnot. Check out Facebook, Instagram, all that kind of good stuff. I'll be linking Cowabunga as well as the Wait For It podcast, as well as Gotham City Limit down below, just to give some shout outs and to have you guys, if you wanted to check out what they got, some really great shops, Cowabunga Comics and Gotham City Limit, both good friends of ours and good friends of the show, and especially Kyle at Cowabunga, who you work with a lot now. Since I haven't been able to be getting out there. I mean, he's like a brother to us, man. He's the homie.
Love that guy.
I love Kyle.
Yeah, I definitely have to say Whatnot's definitely been a blessing, and it's also been like a little bit of a disease at sometimes, because if you are not familiar with Whatnot, it's a live sale that's an auction, and you can go through, I think if you just go onto comics right now, they have almost like 4,000 different shows listed. Granted, not all 4,000 are live at the same time, but you can just go through the rabbit hole.
Or even good.
You can go down the rabbit hole and then just slowly find deals. Or like, okay, this guy's throwing up this book I've been wanting for a minute at like $5. Okay, I'll buy this book. I'll buy that book. And then you like Moon Knight phase out and then phase back in. You like, oh God, I spent $300 in like 2 hours. What am I doing? But I definitely got a bunch of keys that I'm like super happy to have. and eventually I'm going to trade up on some of these keys so that way I can get like my personal grail, which is a Green Lantern 87, first appearance of John Stewart. Shout out Phil Lamar. But other than that, that's kind of been my like saving. That's definitely been my saving grace, is just doing those whatnot sales, and yeah, just that, and just trying to like actually read for once. For the most part, I've been that. I don't want to say it's a bad trait in the comic community, where you have the people who just buy and like flip and trade. I'm definitely guilty of that for sure. But I'm definitely kind of going back to the roots of actually like reading stuff. Like right now, I've been reading Invincible, like the Compendium. I've been rereading Saga again. Compendium. There we go. I knew I was going to mess up a word today. I'm telling
Copenhagen?
I'm telling you, I mess up so many words.
Carpe diem.
I think that's Kyle's favorite thing of mine.
I think it's tough to trust somebody who's trying to sell you comics, and not to like say anything towards you, but like it is tough to like take advice and somebody who's trying to sell you comics and whatnot, and they have never read these comics, you know, like it's real easy as fans to know about the storylines and know about the comics because of YouTube and all of the resources out there. But dude, you got to fucking read them because they're so good. There's so many great storylines out there. And even if you just like caught up in certain modern comics, I love what DC is doing in modern comics. And I think there's so many cool, fucking awesome things that are happening and going to happen. And even if you just went back and read some of the hits, you know, with, you know, Batman Hush, Harley Quinn, Mad Love, you know, like a bunch of the really a billion other Flashpoint, which you know is one of my favorite books. The New Teen Titans. I will tell you one thing: the New Teen Titans from the '80s, written by Marv Wolfman and George Perez, art done by George Perez. It is rest in peace, George. It still holds up in a really weird way. It's so easy to go back and read those. And yeah, you got like a bunch of weird like '80s teenager slang, but fucking stories hold up just like, you know, some of the '80s movies that are still great today hold up. So you definitely got to get on reading. Now, I don't have a lot of room to talk. Excuse me. I don't have a lot of room to talk because even though I've been reading my entire life, lately it has been so. I am 9 months behind on my comic pulls, and I have a list, and I can finally show this on camera. Oh wait, those are podcast notes. You guys don't get to see what the podcast notes are. You silly weasels, widgets. Silly little goofs.
I'm definitely not caught up either.
So this is my reading list, and as you can see, it is very, very long. This is 9 months worth of, you know, single comics that I have not gotten through. So it is
definitely next
tough,
show.
But yeah, it's definitely
next show. You got to add that up and see what the total of that whole list is, because I know it's definitely a whopper right there.
Fuck. I wish there was a way that it would just tell you how many of these points you have. I don't know if it does because Apple can suck it, but it is pretty interesting. But if you're ready, man, let's go ahead and jump into some of the news we got, man. We got some cool shit. I'm really excited to talk about. So to kick it off, we have a lot of DC news again, obviously, but of course this is pop culture. We're going to talk about the movies, and we're going to talk about Marvel because Marvel is a huge topic of conversation. So Charlie Cox is not only appearing in the new She-Hulk show as Daredevil, and it's his kind of classic suit, the yellow and red, kind of yellow and black, was teased, which looks really looks really good because you only got a small, you know, we don't know how it's going to look, but I bet it's going to be fucking awesome. So that's going to happen. He is going to be an Echo, right? And I can't wait for that. And then they officially announced he is getting his own 18 episode miniseries called Daredevil Born Again, named after the iconic Frank Miller Daredevil Born Again run. And I am so stoked. Apparently the only actress who is going to be different, I think they're still using the same actor for Foggy Nelson, which is perfect, and the same actress for Karen, is they're changing Elektra. Apparently Elektra is getting a new actress, which I really liked the girl who was in the show, although watching it I always had this weird air of like, but is
Rosario gonna reappear as the nurse? I don't remember her name.
I doubt it. I doubt it. I think she's kind of doing her
I
own
don't
things
know
right
if
now.
she's
She's in that
coming
show
back at all.
with
Because she definitely
DC.
has like the Ahsoka
It would be
show.
nice. It would be nice if they're right. Yeah, with the Ahsoka show, it would be really cool if they had her at least do an appearance or a cameo. But there's been nothing about it so far. John Bernthal is also rumored to
please
return as the Punisher in the Daredevil Born Again show. So that would be pretty neat if that happened.
You got Kingpin too.
I'm very excited about it. Yeah, well, we know Kingpin is going to show up in Echo because he got shot in the face by Echo at the end of spoilers at the end of Hawkeye. So he's going to have that kind of from the comic books where he has like an eye patch and he was like, I got shot in the fucking face. The Batgirl movie was canceled completely by Warner Brothers Discovery. It is a finished fucking movie, a movie that is literally done. Maybe a few special effects tweaks, things of that nature, but the movie's done.
They probably had like some editing that they had to do and a little bit of trailer work, but other than that, like what, man?
Right, yeah. So it was done, and they axed it. Apparently, they axed it because it reached a point where the budget went up to $90 million, and Discovery is going through all of the books and trying to find out where they can like slim the budget and make back some of the money that they spent on buying WB, and buying all that, which again is fine. The only thing I'll say is, and I think you're the one who sent me this, or maybe Sean sent me it. Apparently the test audiences who have seen the Batwoman or Batgirl movie said that it was irredeemable. It was so bad that there was nothing that they could have done, like editing wise, to make that a good movie, which I'm sure is not true, but apparently it was pretty bad, which really sucks because I was so excited about seeing Brendan Fraser as Firefly. And man, I was excited. I was excited. I think that they are really narrowing down to where they're about to kill off the Snyderverse or what's left of the Snyderverse. And unfortunately, that means a couple of things. That means that I don't think that Henry Cavill will be back much.
Which it's so sad to see that.
Right, because he really is.
How can that guy not have a trilogy, but
is...
Ant-Man could have a trilogy? It's insane if you really look at it from a big picture. But for talking about the...
Fucking A. Well, apparently they're trying to...
But apparently the directors who directed this movie that we're talking about that's getting canceled, they did the Captain Marvel, like the one that was just on Disney Plus. They did a lot of those episodes, and that show was amazing. So hearing you say that about a lot of test audience are saying that, I can't believe that. That's tough, man. That's so sad.
I don't know. Apparently, Discovery is... so they already announced a few things. They announced that they are merging the HBO app and the Discovery Plus app. So it's all going to be in one central hub, probably with a rebrand or a rename or, whatever. And it's reported that they want to do like a Kevin Feige situation. They want one person to head, the DC movies and televisions and kind of oversee everything to make sure continuity makes sense and that we're not just going in a bunch of different directions. Reportedly, they are teasing a 10-year plan that focuses solely on DC, which is pretty fun to think about, and it could be amazing. Again, I think that people don't realize the big shift that's about to come in DC and Marvel Comics, because Marvel, and you can correct me if you disagree, but Marvel, again, I think that they've been getting so big and so wide that it's great that they're reaching to all forms of audience members, but it's getting a little silly. It's getting a little not as exciting because there's so much of it. So
definitely
we'll
with Marvel, just going from Endgame and just how epic that movie was to where they have gone now, not counting really the Spider-Man crossovers.
Right.
It's definitely trying to rebrand for a younger audience to start this new phase to get ready for Secret Wars and everything like that. So you have your whole new, like, quote unquote, Avengers set, which is all fine and dandy. So the OGs that have watched all of them from the beginning are definitely going to have their different thoughts on it. But I'm definitely in the same boat as like a Kevin Smith, to where as long as they make the content, I'm always gonna watch it. But definitely to tie in,
right. I just really wanted more stuff to feel like Falcon and Winter Soldier. You know, that had such an amazing feel and cinematography and things. And don't get me wrong, I don't think that everything needs to feel the same, but I think that more things should feel,
right.
I think you should feel the stakes. I think one of the big problems with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness and Thor, Love and Thunder is you don't really feel the stakes of it. It doesn't feel like danger. It doesn't feel like, it just feels like they're trying to inject so many jokes into everything instead of the original, back in the day when it started getting really good, where you had the quips here and there, but not every fucking line had to be a comedy show. It's like they're trying to work on their tight five for their, debut appearance at the Chuckle Buckle. So I don't know. I just really love and appreciate it. That's why, honestly, I was slightly disappointed, and I mean slightly, fans. Don't fucking get at me. Slightly disappointed with Loki, because while it was a great show, it was just it was silly. You know?
With Loki, they definitely teased
what do you think?
Kang as like the big bad, which that reveal was amazing. But prior to it,
right,
it was like, okay, I like the route that they're going, and they definitely had a lot of beautiful scenes. Like when he opened that drawer and saw the Infinity Stones, that was amazing, and different things like that.
Right.
But
that was very cool. I did like.
I definitely want to blow your mind a little bit. If we're tying back to how you're talking about DC's trying to do a 10-year, just like Kevin Feige. At one point, Kevin Smith was approached to do that job, and he turned it down to create Chasing Amy. I don't know if you ever knew that at all. He just revealed it in a podcast like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, no way, because you know how Kevin Smith is.
So I know that he got tapped to write Superman at one point, and they asked him to write Superman, and he accepted, but then he ended up turning it down because he's like, I write people talking about, dicks and getting a dead guy getting blown in the bathroom, and like he was like, no, I'm not doing that. But Tusk. He was approached by Marvel
prior
or DC?
to like DC blowing up, because they wanted to do a 10-year prior to even Kevin Feige doing a 10-year, because I think he said this was in 2006 or 5. I don't really remember when Chasing Amy came out, but in the 90s,
I'm pretty sure Chasing Amy came out way before.
Yeah, because he was in the middle of making Chasing 90s, Amy, right? And that's whenever he got approached to do it.
I don't know.
And he was like, "Look, everything that I've made so far isn't like that.
Right.
Granted, I am the guy that knows everything about DC, especially him coming from the comic community and being like our guy that made it. But he just did what you said. He was just like, honestly, I can't. I would love to. In my mind, I could totally pitch a fever dream, but I just couldn't do it justice." And they've been fumbling ever since.
Right. Which I think is fair, because I mean, I think he knew his strengths and he knew his weaknesses, and he probably didn't want to end up being the guy who may have ruined DC if he didn't feel like he could. Which how Kevin Smith is my idol.
Right.
I have a whole like shrine to him right here off camera with signed shit and Funko Pops, and and do I think he could make a good movie if he put his mind to it? Sure. Right. Do I? Okay, he can make good movies. Do I think he can make a good DC movie if he put his mind to it? Absolutely. But do I think he is the type of person to want to do that?
If they
it is what I mean. Didn't he make Green Hornet? Wasn't that his thing?
But
and then
I'm still on the team
failing
on if Kevin Smith could have like a one-off movie and it had to be DC based. If he can make a Booster Gold movie, that'd be insane.
Yeah, so characters like that, I would absolutely give them the, fucking make come make Booster Gold. The character, you can make some funnies, because again, not everything has to feel the same. I just like, for instance, again, I'm a DC fanatic, but I don't think I liked Peacemaker all that much. And now that I've had a lot of time to like gel with that, it's not that I didn't like it. I did like it, but that's all. I didn't love it. And it was because it was so ridiculous and so goofy. The fact that they kept punching holes in like anything that made, like, I get it, it was supposed to be funny, but it also made me feel like I'm watching a thing that's making me feel stupid for liking comic books, you know? And the Peacemaker character in the comics is so much more interesting. And I think that John Cena absolutely could have played the real Peacemaker and done a phenomenal job. And the real Peacemaker being somebody who is so serious and so driven towards his, I mean, they keep making the joke about it in the show, but it's absolutely true.
Right.
He will kill men, women, children, whatever, you know, at the price of peace. Right. So, but he is like that in the comics, but he's an absolute psychopath, not just a jokester, you know? So I don't know. That's DC is a specific thing for a reason. And I don't want it to be Marvel. I don't want it to be all jokey and you know, if you're going to do that, there are certain characters to do it with.
I mean, I can understand if it was like the main five, or like if they are doing a 10-year and they make every single character, like say they do a Young Justice for the 10-year, like if that's like their kickoff and they make it all kind of like Thor, Love and Thunder, just very funny, over the top, it definitely won't hit the same because DC is dark, and that's kind of why we're Team DC, like rock and roll. Fuck yeah, baby. But for Peacemaker, I'm definitely on the team of, I'm cool with a very, like, I wouldn't even have called him like a C-lister at the time because no one really read that character that often. But I'm definitely in agreement, like, team James Gunn and like funny for that series because it's almost same level as like a Booster Gold to me on like character tier. Exactly.
Peacemaker was not even a C-lister. He was a Z-lister. I mean, nobody gave a fuck about Peacemaker before that show. Don't get me wrong. I totally understand. And that's that is a character to kind of mess with if he's somebody who, he's been so obscure that I get it. Look, 100%. I'm not daft to that point. I actually really like the character Peacemaker in the comics, and I like his more serious side. But Shazam, for instance, is the perfect character.
I mean, he's a kid
to do funny stuff with. Right. He's Billy Batson. So I didn't think the first movie was amazing, but I still enjoyed it, you know, and I
can't wait for Black Adam.
Awesome, and that Black Adam is awesome. But so anyways, getting back on topic, Supergirl, the Supergirl movie that was supposed to follow the Flash or was going to spin off from the Flash has also been canceled. There's not a whole lot of news there. It wasn't in development, but good news coming from DC cancellations. Are you ready for this? I'm very excited. The Gotham Knights TV show has officially been axed. It is dead. They're not doing the Gotham Knight TV show, Gotham Knights, which is great because that show looked like it was going to fucking suck. And they just took the name from a highly anticipated video game that is coming out soon. And they were like, hey, let's you know, not many people know about the Gotham Knights. Not many people are familiar with any of these titles. Let's put people who nobody gives a fuck about and create a couple of new characters, because there was like 3 new characters supposed to be part of it, I don't know. I don't like the CW at all, and I'm glad that world is ending. Flash is ending with season 9. It's going to be a shortened season 9. And conspiracy theory time, the Flash TV show is ending just 2 weeks, I believe, before the Flash movie comes out. So a lot of people are saying that they're going to, because they've already said that they're rewriting the ending and they're reshooting the ending. So the planned ending is gone. So a lot of people, and I don't know what I think, a lot of people think that they are going to either bring Grant Gustin in to be the movie Flash via some sort of flashpoint, or they're just going to do a really cool connection and it's not really going to have a lot of weight. But all I know is the Flash movie needs to be a game changer. It needs to be something that finally recasts all the people that we know are not going to be in the future.
Has to be a reset.
It has to be a flashpoint. It has to be a something that is going to give us our new team. And that's my hope. That being said, I don't actually know. I do know Ben Affleck is going to be in Aquaman 2. as Batman, as Bruce Wayne at least. I don't know if he's going to be Batman, but he'll be Bruce Wayne in it. But again, that's just kind of fucking bullshit because it's just false hope.
Yeah.
Like, we know he's not going to be Batman anymore. So they're just pulling that out
I know,
from under us.
Twitter
and I love
can't really be accountable for like votes,
you know,
because of the whole Snyderverse and Oscars and everything like that. But definitely on Twitter, yeah, that was definitely trending with
and bots
with Batfleck coming back. That was definitely trending compared to like whenever Michael Keaton was announced to be in the Flash movie.
Right.
It's crazy. Which I'm still am Team Fleck, but hey,
it's and it's cool. And
really, I know that
Michael Keaton was also going to be in the Batgirl movie, so I'm sure he's got to be. Yeah, he was going to make at least some sort of appearance as Batman in the Batgirl movie, and I don't know what the fuck is going to go on. The thing that just baffles my mind about it is that they said it's not going to release on any platform, and one of the reasons is they're filing it towards bankruptcies that are going to save the company money. And I get it, it's all business, but once that happens, they legally cannot ever release it. It cannot be released on any platform. It can't be sold to another studio. It can't be released in theaters legally because you used it in a bankruptcy to make some of your money.
You're
back.
telling me they couldn't sell that to anywhere else for like
that's
half the price?
What I can't
tell
say
me nobody
that
else would have bought that for half the price? That's crazy. So crazy.
No, because nobody else can make a franchise out of it. Nobody can make anything of it. They can hope to make their money back on it, but they can't. They would just be setting up DC to hopefully make more money off of a property that they then just paid.
But if you're like a streamer like Stars or something that no one goes to, wouldn't you just like, I'll throw 30 mil at it? Why not? If it lands, it lands. If not, I mean,
no, because Stars doesn't. Nobody fucking goes to Stars.
Try the free trial and then delete my account just to watch the Batgirl movie. But hey, that's just me.
You're fucking ridiculous. What I can tell is that a book called The Art of the Batman for the Pattinson Batman movie came out, and it's a really cool book that you go through, and it shows a lot of the initial sketches, the drawings. It explains some of the designs behind certain parts of Gotham City. That book confirmed that the vial that Batman used and stabbed in his leg was just adrenaline. It was not. Yes. Now, that does not mean that cannot be retconned. That does not mean that they can't, be like, oh, fuck, that would have been a good idea, and then put it in another movie. But that book confirms that the intention.
Hey, if they want to make a Batman 2 and cast Batista as Bane, and then bring in like whoever that kid that they kept teasing to be Robin, I would love that. But I know they can't ever do anything great because it's DC.
Not Timothy Chalamet, but that kid from
5. I don't remember the kid's name, but
Umbrella
he'd be
Academy,
perfect.
right? That kid would make a badass Robin. Yeah, 5. Last piece of news that I have before we get to you in your San Diego Comic-Con stuff is Joker 2, Folie à Deux, is officially not only not technically in production. I think it starts production early next year, but it is in production as far as it's being planned. They've officially cast Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn. She posted that to her Instagram today, I think, and it's going to be largely set in Arkham Asylum. So if not the whole movie, then most of the movie is going to take place in Arkham Asylum. So the questions are with it being Arkham, are we going to, which Arkham, I believe, was not the hospital that he went to go get the records from, or was that Arkham? I can't remember. I don't think that was called Arkham Asylum, but what I can tell you is that, what I want to know is, are we going to see other Batman villains? Are we going to see any supernatural? Because it doesn't seem like a world that they're building, super powered or lizard or lizard killer croc, things of that nature. But I'm sure they have some sort of.
They're definitely going with like the musical aspect, and it's going to be more like vaudevillain rather than like Hairspray style musical. And then I had it on my notes, but I lost it on what the I'm not even going to pronounce it. What the thing after Joker 2 is? Yeah.
Folie à Deux, it means it translates to the madness of two. So, or or like direct translation, the dirty translation is shared psychosis. So the reason I know that is because I was born in 1994, and one of my favorite bands of all time is Fall Out Boy, and they had a studio album called Folia Do. And we always used to look it up when we were in school. It means the madness of two. But again, most
Shout out
likely
LimeWire for teaching us something.
More directly in shared psychosis.
I know that's where you got that from. But yeah.
All right, so San Diego Comic-Con, man, you got some trailers. You've watched some movies. You've read some books. Fucking. Which I don't believe at all, because I'm pretty sure you don't know how to fucking read. You've played some games, which you've done with my heart.
Oh, for sure.
So
I'm definitely going to break it down with like 3 of the trailers that I saw at San Diego Comic-Con that I definitely wanted to highlight. They're not super mainstream. Like, obviously, we could spend hours talking about the Marvel stuff and all the big 3, but I got a couple small ones that I really wanted to highlight. For starters, my one that I'm definitely going to say is going to win a lot of awards in mainly my book, but maybe out in the world, is going to be Breaking by director Abi Corbin. Yeah.
This looks fucking crazy.
It also has rest in peace Michael K. Williams, who recently passed away, which I think this is one of his like last features that he's going to be in, and I've been a big fan of The Wire ever since like I've seen him. That was so cheesy. It's got Olivia Washington and Nicole Bahari, but I can definitely give like a little synopsis on the movie to kind of hype it up for you. It is a desperate for money and running out of options. Marine veteran Brian Brown Easley holds several people hostage inside a bank, setting the stage for a tense confrontation with the police. And John Boyega is playing the guy who is the ex-Marine who is just getting fucked over, not getting benefits and everything like that. So he does a very stupid thing and threatens to have a bomb. And it's just this cool lockdown movie. And whoever shot this trailer did an amazing job, because I had like goosebumps and like hype. Like this and the Black Panther trailer were my 2 favorite like hype trailers for the most part. But this releases on August 26th with the rest of these ones that I'm about to highlight. But that's definitely going to be on my radar for a must watch, especially if you love Michael K. Williams and all his acting. And then John Boyega actually is a really great actor if you get outside of the Star Wars realm. He has some killer movies. He's definitely slept on. But for my next one, same.
I think he was good in the Star Wars movies personally as well. Yeah, I liked him as Finn, but he is a phenomenal actor. He's amazing,
and especially for being a British guy, it's so hard to tell. You know, like some of them you can definitely have like a little tail, but he's impossible to read. But for my indie people, like anybody who likes like the mid '90s and all the super indie movies, I got a fun comic book one for everybody. It's called Funny Pages. It's directed by Owen Klein, stars Daniel Zolgarde. I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. I have a long last name, so I'm allowed to mess up long last names. It also has Andy Milonakis and Matthew Millar. And it stars a teenage cartoonist rejected the comforts of his suburban life and leaves home, finding an unwilling teacher and unwriting friends in Wallace, a former low-level comic artist. So it's basically like the telltale of a kid coming up in the 90s trying to make it big with Image Comics and just trying to get his foot in the door, and he's chasing what he calls is his legend, which is basically a no-name just artist, because that's kind of everybody's experience. Like, we have people that come into Cowabunga Comics whenever they see Kyle, and just it's crazy the amount of outreach and like touch art and like this field has to so many different people. And this movie just seems like it's going to be the perfect like indie highlight of kind of what got everybody, I know for me, for a fact, into the whole realm of like comic books. Besides like, oh, these are fun stories. Like, you get the art and you just get so many different lanes and rabbit holes. It's definitely going to be a recommend. What's your thoughts on it?
I like the silly pictures. That's why I really like comics. For those of you who paid attention in English class,
thank you.
It is an unwilling teacher and an unwitting friend, not unwhiting. Hey. But I appreciate the fact that you're trying It really gives
football and baseball,
inspiration
baby.
to everybody with brain damage out there.
But those are my main two movies. Definitely for a show that I have to hype up just because I'm a Jason Momoa stan. See the Blind show that was like the cool like barbarians and they're all blind. See season 3 drops on August 16th, and I don't even want to spoil anything about that series besides the fact that they're blind, but it's so amazing. Like every like side actor in it I haven't heard of before just comes out of the woodworks and just gives outstanding performances. This is honestly kind of like, I never got the Game of Thrones hype, but this is like my closest I've gotten to like a Game of Thrones hype or like a Walking Dead, like, oh God, I can't wait for this next episode to drop. But for a barbarian show, it's awesome.
You know what? Real quick, speaking of that, so I am not into Game of Thrones-esque stuff. I've never been into like Middle Ages. I've never been into, I don't know why, Dungeons and Dragons. I play Dungeons and Dragons with my friends, but that is purely so I can like troll and fuck around. I really love making weird jokes and like, there's poison falling out of the walls. I come on it to try to make it stop or something crazy. So I just read, again, 9 months behind on my poll. I just read the first issue of Dark Knights of Steel. And it's basically what if all of the DC universe was set in the Middle Ages and instead of just Kal-El being put in a rocket ship and sent to Earth, Jor-El, that's his name, Jor-El, the father, Jor-El and his mother Laura got in this rocket with him, so all three of them came to Earth, and they, because of how powerful they are, they became king and queen of the realm of their area. So it was just, there's a lot of really cool shit in it, and I was so gripped the entire time I'm reading this, and then the twist ending at the end of the first issue had me fucking bugging, dude. Like I really, if there's, and again, I love stuff like that because it's a short series. I think it's only 6 or 12 issues. It's self-contained. It's its own world. Big recommendation. If you guys want a really cool middle-aged kind of
actually
DC
leads
book,
into my
Dark
book
Knights of Steel.
recommendation.
Very, very cool.
For those of you who know us for sure, we're definitely big Kevin Smith and Mark Bernardin fans. And Mark Bernardin, Eisner award-winning Mark Bernardin, just released Adora in the Distance, which I pulled the trigger on eBay. I had to get it. Granted, I couldn't find a signed copy anywhere for somewhere I wanted to spend. But I was like, you know what? I've always loved Mark Bernardin. All of his pitches on every episode that he's in, he's the reason why I always tune in personally, which is kind of weird. But this story is amazing, and I have to highly recommend it. I don't want to spoil it at all, but it's definitely a perfect read for anybody who has any loved ones or deals with anybody that is on the spectrum, kind of like me. Not really. Terrible joke. Sorry. But it definitely is it's a amazing read. The words weren't too hard for me.
I read this book that's really like, it makes you feel good. And it makes you pronounce it. It makes you like see
his
what
daughter
life
has
is like. Because
autism.
his daughter, I'm pretty sure it's his daughter, right? His daughter's on the spectrum.
Hey, that's what I do with awkwardness. I always throw out a joke.
Fucking joke.
Works 50% of the time. All the time. But nah, Dora in the Distance, I just have to highly recommend this series for anybody seriously who deals or has any loved ones in their life that are on the spectrum, primarily autism. It definitely gives you a different take on the whole entire, I don't want to call it a disease or just a lifestyle, I guess. Now I PC properly say that, but it's not. Condition.
It's definitely not a disease. It's learning disability of sorts. But yeah, I mean, it's as far as we've come to learn about it. It is very much just a wiring of the brain in a very different way. And again, it doesn't make anybody stupid. It doesn't make them there's no deficiency technically because they can be just as smart, if not smarter, than some of us.
Right.
Just they have
it's
issues.
Definitely
with,
a telling of
other
his daughter's story rather than his experience as a father dealing with it. And once you finish the book and then read like the extra little like 2 pages that they have kind of explaining the reasoning behind the book, it'll bring you to tears, man. It's so beautiful. And I'm definitely going to drop it off on Sunday so you can read it, because it's a 10 out of 10 for me. Probably going to be my read of the year, awesome. Unless 8 Billion Genies keeps keeping up with how amazing the series has been. But not to jump on 8 billion Genies, I'm just going to move on past that and go to some gaming news. Which, have you been playing any games at all? I know your free time has been kind of tough. Okay.
I still really manipulate my fiance, if that's what you mean.
Hell yeah, homie.
Pretty frequently. So, I mean, yeah, you could say I've been playing some games. No, I haven't been playing any video games. I really have been so incredibly busy between work and starting up the business and just doing stuff. I've been busy.
For sure. Definitely for all my PlayStation lovers, we finally have our version of Game Pass, which is called PlayStation Premium. It's a 3-tier level, which I'm just going to mainly focus on the premium level. For $7.99 for the first month, and then $17.99 for the following months, you get access to basically any big titled game out right now. And it's insane the amount of list. You get throwback games, new games, trending games, you get demos, you get betas, alphas. It's awesome. Currently from that premium. Currently from that premium, I've been playing Guardians of the Galaxy.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
And I really didn't want to buy that game just because the Marvel Avengers one wasn't that great. But this game is amazing, dude. It literally feels like you're playing a comic book, which is awesome.
See, and it got panned. It got panned by everybody who played it, and it barely got any. I didn't even know it was coming out until the week it came out.
Yeah,
and it's like they just let it fly. Nothing to.
I don't know how well that did for them, but
in a weird
this game is definitely a banger. For one of those ones to where you don't have to put in the hours, kind of like Red Dead 2, which is another game that I got off of this bundle. This is just one of those ones all right, I can hop back in anytime I want to and just flow with the story, because it kind of runs just like a storybook, and it also kind of feels like you're playing a movie at the same time. It's great. I highly recommend it. Oh, for sure.
Well, that's why I love The Last of Us. It's the best TV show / movie I've ever experienced. I mean, it feels like you are literally just playing this epic story. How did you feel about the news that Call of Duty is now no longer?
I mean, it's definitely gone through its switches,
and that it's being sold to
the
Xbox.
Cycles of gaming. Every time a system comes out, they kind of switch over. So prior to the PS4, they were Xbox 360 exclusive, and then we had our run with it. It was awesome. We got to experience Warzone, had a bunch of fun games and everything like that, and got a lot of exclusives from that. But going forward, I don't really know how I feel. I've definitely highlighted it on the Wait For It podcast whenever he asked if I was my futures for gaming. It's definitely you almost died there. But it's definitely my future for gaming is definitely tough. I either have to stop buying comics and finally commit to buying a PC setup so I can play games, or I gotta pray to God I can find a PS5 somewhere, because it's impossible for me. And every time I find it, it's I just paid rent. Here's a PS5 for $800 that I can't afford right now. So definitely tough.
Yeah, I just am not into video games that much at all. I mean, and again, it's just because I'm so busy normally that I just don't have that desire to. And I have my PlayStation set up right here, but I haven't turned it on once since we moved in, unless I was just wanting to watch some Netflix while sitting in my office chair. But it is kind of crazy the shift.
Never gonna happen.
Video games. I may start getting back into video games if Halo comes to PlayStation, because fuck, did I love Halo growing up? I know.
True. There's definitely a fun
Halo
one that you would want to play just because you are an animal lover. Stray just dropped on PlayStation Premium. And you can buy it anywhere, but Premium, it gives it to you for the price of the subscription. It's basically like a Telltale series game, and you play as a stray cat going through all these little adventures and everything. And it's really gripping and heartwarming. Yeah, it's definitely fun.
Oh, I've seen the trailer for that. Yeah. I actually am currently
For real?
in doing a speed run of Nintendogs on my Switch, so or on my DS. So it's tough, man.
R.I.P. all
You gotta
the
pet their little heads with,
R.I.P. all the
you know, the
unattended
thing,
Nintendogs from
and
2006.
make sure that they're happy. Uh,
Exactly. But that was
that's
kind of
that
my main news. I know
generation's Tamagotchi.
with this
Jesus
last ending
Christ,
segment, we're actually gonna do what we love
that's
to do
so
and
funny.
hit on some comic talks. You want me to run it, or you want to run it? Hell yeah!
Let's talk about some fucking.
You
Oh
got
no,
it,
this is all
Papa.
me, baby. This is all Big Daddy Steve. This is all Big Daddy
Bum, bum,
Kane.
bum.
Big Daddy Kang the Conqueror. Fucking. A couple of things I put on here. Pick your favorite book you picked up recently and talk about a key that you were hunting. So I have a couple that I wanted to
Bam.
kind of show off.
Same.
And they're books that I very much am happy that I picked up from various places. So to start off is a 2-book set. It is Batman Superman World's Finest #1, but it is the meme variant. Done by Chip Zdarsky. Let me get them in frame. So you got Superman slapping Batman variant, and then you got Batman slapping Superman variant.
The Will Smith.
And a lot of people online keep listing this as the slap, like the Will Smith. Like that's the inspiration, but no, it's the meme that we've seen, for 30 years now. I got from somebody, I don't know who, but I got this awesome
I know that
Batman
book.
436 first appearance of Tim Drake. First appearance
Beautiful
of Tim
copy.
Drake, who becomes the third Robin. I got this again. Don't know what piece of shit gave me this Batman Year One set, but it's a complete Batman Year One set. Where's my camera at? Complete Batman Year One set, written by Frank Miller and art done by David Mazzucchelli, who is an amazing artist, an amazing writer. Pairing. I think that they're really, really phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
And then probably my favorite book, my tied for favorite book that I've picked up recently is the Batman Superman World's Finest amalgamation cover. It's the Batman and Superman combined.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Dan Mora cover, and fuck is it cool. Like, just that, the fact that it looks kind of like Red Hood, the fact that it is like Batman if he had Superman's powers, I'm all about that.
Okay.
And then last but not least is a key that I've been hunting.
Would you put it on your grail list, or just one of those, I'm never going to find it?
And I mean,
what would you label it as?
What's that?
Okay.
This is maybe worth $1, but a grail list to me is Superman Red, Superman Blue, #1, the first appearance of Superman Red and Superman Blue. And I've been looking for this. Now, when I say I've been looking for it, I could have found it on eBay easy. I could have wherever. I've been looking every time I go into a shop trying to dig and find this book. Can never find it. Finally, somebody hit me up, said, "Hey, I got one." And I was like, fuck yeah. So I got it. Very much fun. And then a key that I'm looking for now. I am looking to get back the first full and cameo of Punchline. So Hell Arisen 3 and Batman #94. And then I'm also looking to get back my first, not Calvin Ellis Superman. I have Calvin Ellis. What is his name from Earth 2, the Black Superman, who they're basing Michael B. Jordan,
his first appearance
off of. I cannot remember his name, and it's killing me. But I had his first appearance, I had his first cover, and I had first him reveal in the suit. And I really want them back because I sold them. Now, I think that with a lot of the DC news, comic prices are going to kind of drop down again here soon. I'm in no rush. So I've been seeing the set of all 3 of those that I've been talking about for like $100, $120. and I don't want to
got a
pay that
couple
right
that I
now.
pulled today.
So I'll wait to see.
Start
if
off,
it,
I'm going to put up a
down.
speculation book that I'm hoping hits with the new up-and-coming movie. I have first appearance of manga Spider-Man. Hopefully the glare isn't killing it too bad. But with every different character that you have coming into the Spider-Verse movies, this is definitely one of those like underrated gems. So
that's a good point.
Definitely
dude.
had the 40
I
price
would bet
tag, but I
money
talked
that
him
you
down to
might be
20
in this
because I
new
bought like a couple other
Spider-Verse
books from him.
across
So
the Spider-Verse
this is
or
definitely
whatever.
my spec book. And if it doesn't turn out to be anything, it's still a cool book. So I'm happy to have that. For one of my personal grails, if you can't tell in my background, I have a giant Godzilla poster, and I'm a big Godzilla fan. I have Sentai #1, which is Mothra's first appearance outside of the technical like Marvel and like other different print runs like that. Because Sentai, they're two big things where they're the first people to print Power Rangers, and they also have the first appearance of Mothra, which is a killer book, and I've never been able to find it anywhere. And this was actually one of my first eBay purchases, and literally it had one picture on it. I thought it was literally a scanned over picture, but whenever I do like a detailed little video on it or send it off to get graded and comes back, I definitely think this is like a 9.6, 9.8 candidate because this thing is minty for sure. Another one that I have, which I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. I'm probably going to like save it in my bundle so that way I can trade it up to get like my big personal grill. I ended up getting a big win on this. I got a Green Lantern 86, one of the drug issues, which is a phenomenal book. Yep. Really cool book. Pretty clean copy. Definitely use a pressing to clean, but I'm super excited to have it in the collection. And for the deal that I got all these different ones from a lower whatnot seller, I definitely am super ecstatic to have this book. And for my final one out of my whole entire like little lot I have here, I could definitely just run numbers on them. But this one was definitely a grail for me because besides Godzilla, I am definitely a Star Wars like fan first and foremost. I have the actual first appearance of Yoda and Boba Fett. I finally have one. There's been so many times that I've been able to find this book at cons and find these books at different conventions, and they want extreme amounts of like money for it or like grading, and it's just been so far out of my price range because I ain't made out of money, but I'll definitely bite the bullet if I have to sometimes. But on this one, I found a listing of all the different Marvel Supersize specials, and it wasn't any of like the keys, but I just barely saw that little bit of blue right there, and I was like, I have to take the risk for it because the whole lot was about like $40 for about like 10 of them. Like not 10 of these, I wish, just 10 randoms, and I saw that little bit of blue in there, and I was like, I saw that blue, a little bit of the E, and I could kind of make out that little curve right there. So like doing Google research, I was like, oh, this has to be it. Even if it's in a shitty copy, I'm gonna do it because for $40 for 10 of these old schools, I can easily make my money back. But if this comes out to be a big thing, then perfect. And lo and behold, it's a solid copy. Really, not that many spine breaks on it. Probably won't get graded higher than like a 7 if I had to guess, but definitely a big grail for me and my big Star Wars fans. I'm very hyped for it.
That's pretty cool, man. I love the Green Lantern, Green Arrow.
That's awesome.
That
good
85
influence.
and 86 were the books that got me into doing heroin. So very, very excited. And I appreciate you joining me for the show and tell today. Now, just for comic news itself, Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths. So it was originally Dark Crisis, or they hadn't revealed its full title.
Correct.
It was revealed to be Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths to pay homage to the late great George Perez, who just passed away this year. And I'm just so excited. A lot of really cool shit is happening in Dark Crisis. I used to always make jokes like, shit, they're going to run out of names
later on in the line
Crisis,
they don't go Darker
like,
Crisis.
Dark Crisis. I'm like, fuck, that's a cool name. Like,
I definitely agree.
They
cool
did
name.
it. They got me. make sure you guys are
Right.
checking out, again, Gotham City Limit in the link below. We're going to make sure we post their links to their website. They have a new exclusive for the Dark Crisis World Without a Green Lantern, Jason Todd Green Lantern cover, and it is the exclusive by Tyler Kirkham, who has done all of their exclusive covers so far. Tyler Kirkham is an amazing fucking artist. He did their Last Ronin. He did their Dark Crisis #1. He did their Moon Knight. That's right. He's done so many really cool covers for Gotham City Limit, and he just did the Jason Todd Green Lantern, and you can see it on our Instagram, on our Facebook, any of that stuff. Death of Superman is coming up to its 30th anniversary, so they're putting like a 30th anniversary book together of like all of the great writers and artists who have worked on Superman that are still alive, you know, in the last several years, and I think that's going to be really cool. It's going to be I love the creative.
I love all the memes
like
coming
when
out
they
for
did
that book.
Action
like, you know
Comics
how people put memes up of Mariah Carey like falling out right now before like Christmas hits. They replaced Mariah Carey with like that cover. It's like, it's happening. It's finally rising back. The stock. It's awesome.
That's funny. That's awesome. Other than that, we're going to be doing, or I'm going to be doing here in my little box, a really cool comic unboxing video, like I mentioned kind of at the beginning of this episode. So make sure you're checking out the YouTube page, and with this episode is going to get posted to YouTube and all of the regular places.
Awesome.
But make sure you're checking us out. I was going to say we're going to start doing a little more TikTok content.
Yeah.
I'm going to start learning some new dances for you guys. But other than that, I'm excited. It feels like I have way more on my plate than I can handle, but I'm just pumped about all of it. It's like,
and the thing I love about this Riverside setup, hopefully, after we end this
shot
and the editing isn't too hard, it should be pretty plug and play. Like, we can actually get back to just doing what we love doing, just talking shit and talking about books, nerding out. It's freaking awesome, man. I love this. This is definitely a fun thing to do.
Yep. So we agreed that we're going to be doing just bi-weekly for now, but hopefully if things aren't too crazy, we're going to be bumping that up to weekly if possible. It's just hard to make a weekly commitment, honestly, when you have so much going on.
For sure.
Like, every Thursday night we'll record, and then every Friday we'll drop the episode. And so I'm pretty comfortable with bi-weekly for now, but we hope that you guys stuck around and listened to the episode and hung out with us and enjoyed some of the shit that we had to say. I had a lot of fun. I really like this setup. It's a lot more low key. It's a lot less,
I appreciate you, buddy.
In my house in my comfy chair, and
always,
I really dig it. Trey, thank you again for coming back.
No, definitely just going to plug again. Whatnot, definitely catch me there Friday, Saturday nights at Cowabunga Comics
in the other room,
and keep an eye out for the next episode drop. I'm pretty sure we're going to talk some more news, and we might review a movie or two, because there's some cool movies I'm definitely going to shoot your way that I think it'd be fun to do a little review on, just to be a little cash, Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
And you throw some hands.
You guys can catch me outside. How about that? And that was a terrible joke. Other than that, thank you guys again. And hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully anybody, at least one person, is listening to this. And we will see you next time.